Welcome to the Dirty Diggler, episode 1 officially. Today I thought I would go back and go through my Solana ecosystem update part 1 that I did back in the end of July. Just because a lot has changed with those protocols, so I thought I'd give you an update on that, plus any changes to my strategy. But before we begin, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, VB, Victoria Bitters, the beer for the bogan and the traveling redneck. Refreshing in this hot-ass van. Just kidding, no, there's no sponsor by VP, but if you reach out to me, I leave on Monday. We can work something out. Anyways, first up on the docket, we've got Jito. Consistently impressing with TVL on the upward trend, and they've actually got their referral systems live today, which is a bit of a bummer because I already told my friends about it, but what are you going to do? But you really can't hate on Jito. They're doing phenomenal. I really enjoy the UI UX built in with the Backpack app, which I will talk about more in future episodes. I mean, their TVL is 1.5 million SOL. They're in second place when it comes to LSDs, second only to Marinade, and I see that as a flippening in the future. So definitely keep my eyes on Jito. Definitely going to try to up those referrals and carry on. Next up, we've got the shirtless wonder, Mac Brennan and MarginFi. I will say I had to scroll way too long to find this guy topless. He posts a lot, which I guess is good for a founder, so they've got that going for him. Anyways, so MarginFi has been actually rather exciting. They've just surpassed 1 bill in volume, and I got a really good feeling about them. Strategy here is simple. Just keep on providing the liquidity, resist the urge to leverage loop, and get more of your friends to use your referral link. Simple as that. Now, Jupiter. This one is special. I don't know if they're going to do a token at any point, but what I do know is you literally can't avoid using them. It's not even at this point about farming an airdrop. It's just that they've got, as I say, a wonderful DEX aggregator. Meow and the team continue to impress with their limit orders, the ability to direct LST stake within app and within third parties. They've got partnerships, integrations like YOLO Nolo that I wrote about, which is a Discord trading app. It's honestly just nonstop integrations, and we love to see it. They are really good for Solana for being able to do the sizing that they do. So use it, and if one day there's an airdrop, another DEX to pay attention to is Phoenix. That just launched. Pretty clean looking user experience I like to see. They've got TradingView built in, which typically I only see in perp DEXs. Now, Jerry and the team are calling this the first instant settlement without asynchronous cranks. I don't know what that means, so I'm going to have to look into it more, or better yet, get somebody on the team to come on to the Dirty Diggler and explain it in layman's terms, because we're just all layman's. Strategy for Phoenix is pretty simple. They're pretty tight-lipped about any tokens in the Discord, which makes sense. If I was the team, I wouldn't be talking about it either. So, use it. See what's so good about this crankless business, and interact with the community. Really, it's the only way to move forward with Solana, and it's been my game plan over the last couple months to get involved. Now, Cypher, one of the perp DEXs that I mentioned in the part 1, unfortunately was exploited a few weeks ago. I was impacted as well, and I will have to give the team credit because they've been forthgiving on information and working with the community inside the Discord to work on the best path forward, which, as it turns out, is leading to their IDO, which they've sped up to do. Now, couple of points. Cypher is calling this the fairest token launch in Solana history. I have a couple of problems with that because I do a lot of research, and tokenomics is one thing I look closely at, and I'll bring up my template. Inside my template, I like to look at things like what I call the distribution rating. Inside the distribution rating, what I look for is team and advisors below 25%, investors below 15%, community above 33%, and treasury above 10%. It's what I kind of call the gold standard. because as much as you want it to always be fully community launched and get 75% of the tokens, a lot of times people got to get paid. And if I was on these teams, it'd be what I'd be looking for. So I try to call that reasonable metrics. So now if we go back to these guys, you'll see team 23%, not bad. Advisors and investors together, just about 12%, not bad. Public sale 45, which means community including airdrop, also over 50%. That's great. Now, would I call it the fairest token launch in Solana history? No, but it's still good. And so we will watch Cypher to see as they come back. They've announced that they're going to be doing audits with Otter and such. And I should also mention that the airdrop will include giving more to those users that were affected. Also, quick little shout out to retired Chad Dev. He actually had a great idea. He said, how about converting a portion of the user's lost funds as IDO raise? So if he lost 75K, a third of that as an option for me to be considered as part of the IDO participation instead of 0% indefinite recovery. This is because the community is discussing back and forth about a 66% made whole and then rest as a debt token over time. Actually, pretty good idea. I like it. Nice work, Chad Dev. Next up, we've got Kamino, which Dirt will admit he actually hasn't got around to using. Shameful, because I have a good feeling that Kamino will eventually launch a token and they'll probably reward early users. So Kamino, I saw today actually introduce what's called creator vaults. Essentially, they're allowing users to come on and make their own advanced strategies instead of just buying into the ones Kamino proposes. This I could see intermingling well with the sort of new SocialFi narrative. So maybe you'll be able to come on and you'll be able to actually follow what vaults other people are creating. In addition, they've created this advanced analytic dashboard that you'll be able to use while you create your vaults. So that's actually pretty sweet. I'm going to be watching this one, seeing how the TVL works out, seeing which guys are able to make the best strategies, and maybe use that as a way to get exposure to the Kamino ecosystem. Well played. Now, first up in our derivatives category, we have Drift Protocol. I have always liked Drift, and their V2 was even better than their V1. Pretty impressive numbers these guys are putting out. They just did 900 mil in cumulative volume. Not surprising when you actually look at their perp dex. It's pretty impressive. Looks a lot like a centralized exchange. It's got all of your quality of life tools that you like to see. It's clean layout. Pretty impressed. So strategy here is sort of in line with my Zeta strategy, and so I'll get to that once I get through Zeta. So Zeta markets actually has become dear to my heart. They were my least favorite of the three when I first started doing this a couple months ago, but upon closer inspection and once I got access to their beta product, I started to see a lot of improvements. Some of the things that I thought were lackluster were their slow to push tools, and that some of the things that Cypher was offering were more advanced. But when I unveiled the curtain, I kind of looked at Cypher a little closer, and I didn't really like how a lot of the UI UX was laid out. Some of the things were labeled in ways that I were not used to, so the way that the sub accounts were set up and having to transfer funds back and forth. And then you fast forward and they get exploited. Now it gives me new patience for the Zeta team. Take the time that you need, do it step by step. And with that said, V2 is coming to launch, actually, I believe in the next coming weeks, which will see things like better quality of life. You'll have a better portfolio dashboard. You'll be able to see trade entries in a different way. I'm not going to give it all out. I'll let the team do that. But I'm excited about it. Which brings me to my strategy. Continue to use Zeta and use Drift. When Cypher comes back on, use it as well. I try to remain as delta neutral as possible, but sometimes I get a little overexcited and I end up all long because I have a bit of a long bias. I'm a shitty bear. And then you get caught up and this kind of, But anyways, use them. Go for the volume. Odds are they're going to have tokens. Seems to be my general thesis around Solana 2.0. They're going to have tokens, and I believe in it. And so should you. And last but not least, the only protocol on the list with fake token is Hxro Network. These guys are a liquidity layer for gambling and derivatives built on Solana, so their infrastructure. They've got over 25% of their circulating supply staked, and they're integrated with a lot of different protocols. They've done a 328 million in transaction volume. It's pretty impressive. You go to their ecosystem, you may not recognize a lot of them, but YOLO Nolo is one of the better Discord bots, especially on Solana, Flowmatic, another derivatives. We got a new one, Pepper DEX, which is coming out. And they've already announced that they're going to be airdropping a predominantly large part of their airdrop supply to Hxro stakers. So, does this warrant looking further? Yes, definitely. Because I think gambling is certainly a narrative that's here to stay. We're all gambling when we're here. It just makes sense for it to be on chain as well. So expect a future report on Hxro. Maybe a podcast with the team if we can find them. That would be sweet. And with that, I bid you adieu. Stay dirty. Subscribe, like, tell your mom.